Whoa, what's up, YouTube? What's happening, baby? It's your boy, Willie Nunnery Jr. with Cedar Private Solutions. Back with another video, you dig? Man, I want to talk to y'all about how to handle and a key thing of how to handle a situation, especially this crazy market that we dealing in with these high-ass interest rates. First of all, do not listen to what nobody's telling y'all about this is a bad time to buy real estate. This is the best time for you to be buying real estate, dog. This is the best time. Think about it, because way back like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when interest rates was 2 and 3%, you had a buying frenzy. People were selling in outrageous prices and all that shit. Guess what? Now that interest rates are 7 and 8%, everybody's scared. All that big pool of buyers are now dwindling down. They're now this small. You know what I'm saying? That means less competition because everybody listening to what they say on the news. Don't buy, don't buy, don't buy. Interest rates too high, interest rates too high. Don't listen to that. Buy real estate right now. This is the best time. You will get rich right now. You're gonna buy right now, and in 5-6 years later, 10 years later, I'm gonna be like, man, I'm happy I bought that shit. Boy, I'm happy I bought that shit. That boy was on point. You know what I'm saying? But today I want to talk to y'all about creative financing. How to get a seller to carry a first mortgage. Now, a couple months ago, about a year ago, y'all go scroll down on my channel. I did a good video breaking down how to carry a second mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Check that out too, because you need to know that too. You need to know both types of creative financing. How to carry a first mortgage and how to carry a second mortgage. So I need to go back and look at that video, how to carry a second mortgage. But this video is about how to carry a first mortgage. Okay? Now, why seller carry a first mortgage, AKA, if you're from Louisiana, where I'm from, down here, we call it a master lease. If you're not from Louisiana, if you're from some other state, Atlanta, Texas, Cali, wherever it may be, y'all might call it a master lease, or what it is, a contract for deed, something like that. You know, that's what you call it, like that. But let's start off as far as what is seller carry a first mortgage. So seller carry a first mortgage is basically seller is in the first position. Seller becomes the bank. Let's say you run into a seller who has no debt on the building. He owns the building free and clear, which there are a whole lot of people out here, 80, 70, 80, 90 years old, who own these properties free and clear, and they want to sell. Okay? It's hard to get good debt in today's market, in the money market today, because of the 8 to 7 and 8% interest rates and the high ass insurance. It's basically killing the deals. You know what I'm saying? So you go to Mr. Seller, you say, hey, this is how you start the conversation off. You say, hey, Mr. Seller, I agree with your price. I'm not arguing with your price. I'm not gonna beat you up on your price. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not those type of buyers. I'll give you your price if you give me my terms. And the seller's gonna say, okay, you got me interested. What are your terms? And that's when you hit them with the, hey, you can carry this mortgage from me. I'll give you a certain amount of down payment. I'll give you that amount of down payment, you know, and that way you could you could start it off like that, you know, because I just want to paint a picture for y'all. Like, just think to yourself, you know, what if you could buy real estate with very little money down, without a credit check, without having to do all that paperwork and have to qualify with the banks and all that shit, go through all the red line and checking boxes, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. You know, you can avoid all that with going straight to the seller and convincing the seller and negotiating with the seller to carry a first mortgage, to put the seller in first position. That's why it's called seller carry first mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Because the seller is in first position. Now, these are some things you need to look for when you looking at a Craigslist ad or a LoopNet ad, or even talking to a broker that, hey, the seller might be interested in carrying a first mortgage. Okay? These are some things you need to look for. Let me go to my notes. I know I keep my notes on deck. You hear me? So things you need to look for. Seller is willing Seller is willing to carry. Seller is willing to hold a note. Might be some language like that. A seller is willing to carry. Seller is willing to hold paper. These are things you need to look for. If you see those kind of hints in the headlining, you need to jump on that shit. You need to call him ASAP. You know what I'm saying? And jump on that, because you can negotiate your own deal. And you don't have to go through no banks or no credit checks or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? This seller carry is powerful stuff, especially in today's environment. Now, a lot of y'all like, well, Will, you said you will give the seller his price if the seller gives you his terms. What terms are you talking about? Let's talk about that. Okay, typical, you could make this however you want to make it, but typically, you know, you go in and you make a 10-5-5 offer. What is a 10-5-5 offer? That means you're going to offer the seller 10% of a down payment. If you want to sell a property for $1 million, 10% of that $1 million is going to be $100,000. So that you paying a 20 or 25%, $200,000 to $250,000 down payment, which the banks will want you to pay. You will go at him and say, hey, I'll give you 10% down. At 10%, I'll give you $100,000 in your pocket right now. Let's go, run it. You know what I'm saying? Then you offer him a 5% interest rate, and he's going to carry this loan for 5 years. In about 5 years, all this high interest rate shit gonna be then calm down. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna go back down a little 2 and 3%. It ain't gonna go that far down. But it will be calmed down enough to be like, it'll go down to about 4 to 5%, enough for you to refinance and get out of it. Speaking of refinance, exit strategy. So after you buy the property and you negotiate with your seller on how you want to do it, you have to have a proven exit strategy. One of those exit strategies could be you can sell the property after you hold it for 5 years or whatever term y'all negotiate. I'm just saying 5 years, but it could be 2 years. It could be 3 years. It could be 10 years. You know what I'm saying? The longer, the better. The longer you hold that bitch, it ain't gonna hurt you. The longer, the better. So, we just start off for 5 years, but it could be 7 years. It could be 8 years. It could be 10 years. You can hold that bitch for a whole cycle. 10 years, that'd be great. You know what I'm saying? But it comes down to you come to the end of your term, and at the end of your term, you got to pay this man. Now, a woman. So now when it comes down to the end of your term, you could say my exit strategy could be either to sell and do a 1031 exchange and take those proceeds and go and buy a bigger building, pay off your seller and go buy a bigger building. Or you can refinance with the bank and get everything in your name fully, and then pay off the seller and get a big chunk of money on the exit and keep the property. That's what I like to do. That's what I like to do. Get a big bag at the end, a non-taxable event, I must admit. You know, that's another non-taxable event. And pay off the seller, get your big bag, and you still got the building that's pumping out cash flow. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of y'all gonna run into these sellers that's gonna be like, what's in it for me? What's the big deal? You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds like I'm really helping you out, you know, because now I still didn't sell a building. You know what I'm saying? I'm still stuck. So it's like, what's in it for the seller? This is how you negotiate it with the seller and showing them what's in it for them. Okay? If they've owned a property for 20, 25, 30 plus years, it then went through generations of family, you know, and they want to sell, 30 plus years ago, they bought that building for little or nothing. So if they sell right now, matter of fact, I'm talking to the seller right now. We having this discussion right now. If they sell right now, they're going to have to pay a high ass capital gain taxes, which is going to eat a lot of their money. It's going to eat a big chunk of their profit. So that's when you come in, you say, hey, I'm going to give you 10%, 5%, 10%, or it could even must be 20% down. However you and your seller negotiate. You know what I'm saying? But let's say you give the seller 10% down payment. You know, back to that $1 million property, that example I said, and you give them a 10% down payment, and on that 10% down payment is $100,000, the seller's only paying taxes on that $100,000. He's not paying taxes on a whole $1 million. So you just saved him money right there on a capital gains. Then you turn around and you're paying him a monthly mortgage fee. So you're paying like say you're paying him like $5,000 a month in a mortgage payment with a 5% interest rate. He's still getting cash flow. And guess what? He don't have to do nothing. He only is going to pay taxes on the down payment he get and on the cash flow he receives from you every month. So that's how you negotiate with the seller as far as like, hey, this is where you win at. It's not just me getting your property for what they might think little or nothing, but this is where you win at. Now, let's paint another scenario. Let's say the seller has a little mortgage on a building. It's no problem. That's no problem. That is no problem. Do not get scared of that. If y'all run across a seller who has a little mortgage on a building, you know, like, hey, I got a small loan on the building. That's okay. That's all right. Because the offer price you make to him, you know, the offer price you make is gonna be higher. It's gonna be a high offer price you make. Not really too high, but it's gonna be market standard. You know, there's no low ball is gonna be market standard. So once you make that offer price to him and you give him his down payment, the monthly payments that you give to him is gonna be enough for him to pay his monthly mortgage. You feel me? And the rest is money he gonna put in his pocket. So don't get nervous if the seller say, oh, I have a mortgage on a property, you know, can we still do it? Yes, we still can do it. Do not run away from that. Yes, we still can do it. The money I give you every month, whatever money I give you every month, whatever your mortgage is, you will have enough to pay your mortgage, and you will have after that, whatever money is after that will go straight into your pocket. This is how you negotiate with them. This is how you show them the power. And once you learn this, and once you talk to them, and once you have confidence in it, and they feel comfortable and like, okay, he knows what he's talking about, then you go with your move. How do you set this up, now you ask? Oh, and another thing. You don't have to worry about the high-ass insurance and the high-ass taxes on your end, because you're just going to assume his insurance. He's going to add you to his insurance, and he's going to add you on, to the insurance, to the flood insurance, to the homeowner's insurance, whatever it is, he's going to add you on to that. So you have to avoid all that, and you don't have to avoid, what was that, the damn vacuum? I don't know. And you avoid paying the big taxes that you would get if you would buy outright with a bank, because if you would have bought it outright with a bank, your taxes have been going up. You got his same tax bill. So you don't have to worry about none of that. It's just a straight win for you, straight across the board. You know what I'm saying? You got his insurance, you got his same tax bill, because there's not a real final act of sale that was committed. You know, you just took over the deed. That's why in Louisiana they call it bond for deed. You just added on to the deed. So it's just a straight win across the board, dude. This is what y'all need to look for. I want y'all to go out there and get active and look for these deals. Go back to my old video on how to carry a second mortgage. Study that shit and apply it. Go out and put that shit to work, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because they got people out here who want to sell and they looking to sell, but they're scared or they getting shut down because of these high ass interest rates. And that's when you come and say, hey, I could carry. Hey, are you willing to carry? Are you willing to hold? You know, if so, hey, let's sit down and talk. Let's work this out. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you do it. Go out there, close some deals, be great. If y'all need some help or something like that, hit me with the message in the comments. Holla at y'all later, baby. Peace.